guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be talking about one of the hottest topics in the sports world right now. Before we jump right into it, I do want to congratulate the Spanish team for winning the World Cup this year, which was amazing. And it's such a tragedy that their victory and this moment of joy and pride is overshadowed by really frustrating behavior exhibited by a man. God forbid women win something. Everything from this point on is my personal opinion and my personal thoughts on the matter. So the person in question, the one that is destroying this great momentous celebratory moment for the Spanish women's team, is Luis Rubiales, who is the president for the Spanish Football Federation. If you have no idea what's happening, a quick little rundown, okay? The women win the World Cup and everyone is celebrating, and their emotions are running high and everyone's having such an exciting moment. And Rubiales decides to grab one of the players and kiss her. Yes, this happened as they were celebrating. Everyone's hugging each other and he hugs Jenny Hermoso and then just kisses her right on the lips. To nobody's surprise, there has been tremendous amount of outrage over the situation, and there have been major calls for Luis Rubiales to resign over his actions. As I understand, a lot of people have a lot of different things to say about this matter, and many a man is coming to Luis Rubiales' defense, saying something along the lines of, there was no sexual intent, there was no motive behind it, it was in the heat of the moment, everyone's emotions was running high. And one of the absolute worst things I've heard is Jenny Hermoso didn't say anything in the moment. Why is she coming out and speaking about it now? Tell me you haven't been in a traumatizing situation without telling me that you've never been in a traumatizing situation. Seriously, besides the point. And I also understand that different cultures express emotions differently. You would never catch a man even hugging a woman in more conservative cultures in a public setting. Someone that's not family, you're not going to see them hug them, right? And in other cultures where people are a little bit more relaxed with their interaction with the opposite gender, hugging, totally acceptable. And especially in Spain, a kiss on the cheek, an air kiss on the cheek, perfectly acceptable. It's even perfectly acceptable behavior between straight men, in terms of celebration or greetings and all of that. But a kiss on the lips is universally known as a more intimate, a more sexual act. So don't tell me it's an accident. You don't grab someone like by the head and pull them into your lips and say it's an accident. That's what I don't get. Or there was no intention behind it. Like, what were you gonna do? Kiss her nose? I don't think that was his intention. I don't think he accidentally landed on her lips, okay? So, as it stands, all 81 members, I think, of the Spanish national women's football team is protesting against Rubiales still being in the presidential role for the Football Federation, and they're refusing to play as long as he is in that position. Which is fair. Which also begs the question, if the women, the team that won the World Cup, is not being heard, is not being listened to by men in power or people in power in general, what hope does the average woman have? These women have made their mark, they've brought home the trophy, and even their voices are being trivialized. So what hope do really the average woman have? As I'm recording this video, it has been a while since this incident happened, and two major things have really come out in terms of the Football Federation of Spain taking action. First thing they tried to do was take legal action against Jenny Hermoso for spreading lies. spreading lies, and we're talking about a televised kiss. But following that, and following all the outrage and the unification of these women, the team standing by one another, they have provisionally suspended Luis Rubiales. So I don't understand why they're not just firing him, and what Luis Rubiales means by saying that he's gonna fight this till the end. I mean, bro, you kissed her and you did that in public. I don't care what's happening in secret, but that's not how you treat one of your players, okay? Why is this not a problem we're seeing in the men's leagues? Why aren't you just grabbing the male players and kissing them in the heat of the emotions or in the excitement of the moment? Like, you can respect a man's body and treat it as such, but you don't seem to give women the same respect, and that is what's absolutely frustrating here. But mind you, there is also video footage of this guy Rubiales grabbing his crotch in celebration during this tournament. Yeah, you heard that right. I don't understand what celebrating the win of the World Cup has to do with grabbing one's crotch, but he did that. And I mean, I guess there's no question of consent with another person here, but there is a question of decorum and how a leader presents himself in public. Also, the Spanish royal family was there, and I think this is like a big no-no. You don't do stuff like that in front of the royal family, or you don't do stuff like that in front of a global audience, especially as the president of the Spanish Football Federation. It's just weird. Even the Spanish government has demanded that he resign from his position because of all the backlash that he's gotten. The first thought that comes to my mind is, by not forcing Luis Rubiales to resign or by not firing him from his position, the Spanish Football Federation is perpetuating rape culture. They are really trying to maintain a world where women have the least amount of say over what happens to their body. They don't care that the women have brought home the gold. They don't care that their women have represented their country and did their best and won, but they still trivialize the issues faced by women. What are they really going to get from defending a leader that they have that is showing signs of poor behavior, that is not treating people with the respect that they deserve? And when major organizations like the Spanish Football Federation doesn't take women's rights seriously and does not support the women that are representing them, it paves the path for more hate to be directed towards women in general. Because we live in a very internety world, we are constantly having keyboard warriors, behind the screen, having the ability to say whatever they want, no matter how harmful it is, right? And when major organizations seem to also lean in favor of these, for the lack of a better term, these incels, they're further confirming that they really don't care about women. And it is incredibly frustrating. So I'm gonna go over some of the comments that I found on one of the posts about the situation, okay? And it's icky, but it's just me exposing what the world is like and why you gotta do better by the women in your life. There's this comment that says, "Good, now use this as a sign that this women football isn't working and they're not built for this." What I don't understand is, what does the action of one man has to do with whether or not women are built for football? This situation and this horrendous backlash that the Football Federation is facing has nothing to do with the women's ability to play football. It has everything to do with men not respecting women. But then there are people like this that constantly try to take away from the contributions of women and their talents. And then this other guy very helpfully contributes by saying, this women in football thing has become a problem to men in football. I don't see how. Like, this has nothing to do with the men's team in Spain. No one's going after them. They're living life, right? And then they say, why don't they quit the game and give us peace? Everything around football is physical. Whoever doesn't want to be touched should stay in her bed. We're getting bored. You can be touched, grabbed, pushed, shoved. Okay, you know what? A lot of those things are fouls, I'm aware. But on field versus off the field, different things. Also, not all kinds of touch is permitted on field. Like, you know the difference between a benign grabbing and holding someone back versus hurting someone. If you know the difference between that on field for men, why can't you see the same difference off field for women? No one's blaming anyone for the hugs that were given out during the win. That is physical touch. We're just going after a man that grabbed a woman and kissed her for no bloody reason. Oh, and this delightful human said, my personal view is that he did that out of joy. Yeah, this is also the guy that grabbed his crotch out of joy. Does he really deserve to be the president of the Spanish FA? Men should step up against feminism. Otherwise, all men are heading for a rough landing. You know what? If being held accountable sounds like rough landing for you, then you are in for some bad times. Because we're sick of being in the rough spot constantly, time and time again. We want some soft, cozy life too. So deal with it. What I want to say is, I don't see the difference between these commenters and the people in charge of the Spanish Football Federation. Besides the minute detail of them provisionally suspending Rubiales, they haven't really taken any major action. If anything, they threatened to go after the person that was victimized, and that, in my opinion, is pretty nasty behavior. I really hope that by the time I post this or in the near future, there is a resolution to the situation and it is favorable and sensible for that matter, because the leaders of organizations really do represent what the organization stands for, and you know, how they behave in public really does matter. And till I see you guys in my next video, goodbye.